And welcome to my next Let's Play, that is Castlevania 3 Alucard Edition. Well, not so much as an edition, but just doing the Alucard playthrough. As you may have noticed, I'm not starting at the beginning of the game. There's an important reason for this. Basically, in Alucard's path, you still have, in order to get to Alucard's path, you still have to go through the first couple of levels like normal. You know, that's just how the game is built. I already showed how to get through those levels when I did the Sypha walkthrough, so there's really no point in showing off the same levels over again. I'm cutting to this point. If you wanted to get Sypha's path, take the upper route that you just saw at the beginning of the video. Anyway, this is the swamp level, which really isn't too bad. The swamp is lethal, but only to a point. Like, you can go quite a degree under it and not be killed by it. I'll actually demonstrate that later in the video. Anyway, there's nothing particularly difficult about this level. We won't actually get Alucard for a couple levels, but these levels I haven't shown off yet, so that's why I'm showing these off. And here I pick up the axe. Why I pick up the axe? Well, the upcoming boss, it's actually quite useful on it, so why not? In Castlevania 1, the axe barely got used by me, and I figure, and I didn't really use it all that much outside of the final boss battle in the last playthrough, so we'll use it for a couple levels. One thing I like, well, this kind of applied to Castlevania 1, but not so much for various reasons. But because of the way you get the double and triple shots, you get 10 kills with a sub-weapon, you can get a double shot, and if you do that again, you get a triple shot. This means even if you die and lose your double or triple shot, it's not too hard to get it back. You know, you have a way of doing it. Or if you accidentally pick up the wrong weapon. What I like about this, you know, you don't have to worry too much about exchanging weapons and not worrying about, oh my god, I don't have my double shot. You know, you're not in trouble. Though I do prefer how Rondo of Blood and Onward dealt with it, in that double and triple shots aren't really a thing. They're unnecessary. And Rondo of Blood and Onward are pretty well balanced around that. You see him trying to throw this axe at the bat instead of going forward and attacking it? That's because in that hallway right before it, you can't really jump over it, which is annoying. I think Castlevania 3 is pretty good in avoiding dickish level design, to the point where it's cheap, but that is one area, one instance I can think of where I didn't really care for it. Anyway, we have the boss bat, which pretty much similar to Castlevania 1, except he shits out little mini-bats, which aren't all that threatening. Like I mentioned before, the axe is easily the best sub-weapon to deal with them, though the cross works pretty well, too. And that's the end of that level. Not a problem. And here we go to the next level. We got these eye things. They were in Castlevania 2, but the less said about Castlevania 2, the better. I don't hate Castlevania 2, but I don't care for it. That's kind of how I feel about the game. Would I ever LP Castlevania 2? Not anytime soon. It's not exactly something I look forward to doing. Maybe just to say I LP'd all the classic games, sure, why not? But not really worried about it. With those platforms, they crumble very quickly, but if you keep jumping, because they only crumble when you're literally standing on top of it, if you keep jumping, you'll you can increase the amount of time you effectively stay on the platform before it gets destroyed. Avoid that dagger unless you want to pick up a crappy sub-weapon. And we got the green slime enemies from Castlevania 2. This game does take a few enemies from that game. You know, I don't really care for these enemies. I didn't like them in Castlevania 2 to begin with. They're not as annoying, but... which is saying a lot because they're still annoying in this game, but... yeah. I don't really see much point in taking those lower paths, so I just stick with the high path. I've done it before, but I never got much point out of it. If I can say anything about this level, I do like how the water, the blue water, and the background clash with it. They don't clash. What am I saying? Just how the colors mix with each other. I really do like that about Castlevania 3's art style. I think it's one of the better looking NES games for that reason. Maybe not in terms of technical specifications, but in terms of just pure art, I think it really stands out really well. That's another issue I have with Castlevania 2. The art is really, really bland and uninteresting. Just like my commentary. I'm just kidding. Those orb things, if you hit them, it won't damage them. They're invincible, but it'll stop them for like a second. So, that's nice. The axe helps with killing this thing, but he is such a limited pattern, you really shouldn't get hit by him. But if you did, you'd probably die because knocked back. And here we have our next boss, and it's Alucard. Yeah, he's out of the... well, actually, I forgot about Grant. I was going to say he was the only one of the partners you'd fight, but then I completely forgot about Grant. Which is telling, because I rarely play as Grant, so that's probably why I forgot. Oh well. I'll get on more on why I don't really play as Grant that much when I do the Grant playthrough, which will happen eventually. I don't know if it'll happen anytime soon, but it's a thought. Anyway, you have two main strategies. You can use the cross on him, on his head, or you can use the axe. Or you could go option number 3 and just whip him, but I feel this is faster and safer. You can, like I showed right there, you can whip the fireballs to destroy them, so they're really not much of an issue. And you really shouldn't die to this guy. He's really easy. I'd say the level coming up to this part was harder than the boss, and the level was pretty easy too. So. And that's the last hit. And now Alucard will attempt to join us. Of course, like with Sypha, you can ignore them, but that's a dumb idea. Unless you're doing some kind of self-imposed challenge. If so, go you, but that's not really my thing. Anyway, that's the end of this part of Let's Play Castlevania 3. I'm Huko, signing off.